Good evening, this is James, and yes, I have been skydiving in 1994 in the deserts of Arizona, just west of Phoenix. In the first half, I guess the first 5 months or so of 1994, I was living in Arizona, working as an intern at Intel. And somehow I figured out that one thing I wanted to do while I was out there was go skydiving. So somehow, and I don't even remember how I found them, maybe a pamphlet somewhere, but I found some sort of skydiving center west of Phoenix, like past this old, what looked like a deserted horse race track. You had to drive beyond that, way out into the desert. And I remember that I went there once for training. And I should say, first of all, that the type of dive I chose to do was not a tandem dive where you have a man strapped to your back. And if you like that sort of thing, that's okay, but it's not my thing. But that's a tandem dive. I think the technical term for what I did is called an assisted dive, where I had two guys diving with me, holding on to the straps of my harness on either side, and their job was to pull the cord in case I lost it. Did the training that first day. A plane went up before my turn, and they were using these tiny little Cessnas. But tiny little Cessna went up, came back down, weather went bad, rain started coming down, so they canceled it for the day. And I came back a second time a few weeks later, and it was canceled again due to bad weather. And the third time, I went back there early in the morning, because it was my last full day in Arizona, and I wanted to get in as much as possible on that last full day. So it was skydiving in the morning and Grand Canyon in the afternoon. That was the plan. So, went up in the tiny little plane, the tiny little Cessna, a whole bunch of people in there. There were the two guys who were going to dive with me on either side, and the camera guy and the pilot, and I think that was pretty much it. So, what is it? 1, 2, 5 or 6 people in a tiny little Cessna. And we got up to around 10,000 feet, I think it was. And the first thing we had to do at around 10,000 feet, and I'm remembering this from 15 years ago, and I've got a VHS tape here that I got to get transferred to DVD or MPEG or something like that. But the first thing we had to do, we didn't just jump out of the plane. We all had to start going down at the same time. So we had to climb out on this tiny little platform attached to the wing. The guy on my right, I think it was, had to get out first, and then I had to get out on the wing next to him. And then there would be a guy sort of still in the plane on my left, and then we'd all jump at the same time. That was the hardest part, getting out of the plane. Because you can see down, and the wind is very strong, and you can't even breathe. I mean, the wind is just so fierce, you can't even breathe. We all got out on that little wing strut, and there was some sort of count to 3, I don't remember exactly what, maybe a hand signal or something, and then we all went. I do not understand how System Jap managed to look at the camera and give a thumbs up, because the wind was just so fierce I could not breathe. I was so focused. Yeah, I remember what I had to do. The altimeter wasn't on a hand thing. It was on my chest, sticking out like this. So what I had to do is I had to let the guys jumping with me know that I still had it together. I had to look left, look right, and look at my chest. Look left, look right, look at my chest. And then when we got to a certain altitude, I had to pull the cord. And I was so focused on that and the fact that I couldn't breathe. I mean, it's like, oh shit, I can't breathe, but I still have to look to the left, look to the right, look at the altimeter, make sure I pull the cord at the right height. And the wind was just bouncing everything around so bad that I almost couldn't make out the altimeter bouncing around on my chest. Got to just about the right altitude, or what I thought was the right altitude, and I pulled the cord, and the guys with me kept going down, and I was on my own for the next few minutes. The guy with camera went down ahead of me, he got to the ground first, and I know because I've viewed this tape a few times, but right, I remember what it was. There was a radio. They gave me a little radio that I could where I could hear their instructions guiding me to the landing spot. So the guy who landed with the camera was standing near the guy talking into the radio, so you could hear them giving me instructions over the radio. But so floating down, nothing underneath my feet, just a few thousand feet of empty space in the desert, and every once in a while they'd give me some instructions in my ear, like pull the left or pull the right. And every time I did that, the radio would get a little staticky, and I'd change direction a bit. And as the ground got closer, I remember this from watching the tape, more so than from my own memory. But what is it? Feet together, and they were trying to guide me down so I would land on my feet, because that's when you know when you've got it, when you've done your own like dive and landed solo and landed on your feet and not fallen on your ass. But you can hear them saying, what is it, feet together or legs together or feet together or something like that. And I land on my feet and I sort of stutter step, and then I fall on my face, and you can hear them saying, "Oh!" So that's my skydiving experience right there. And somewhere around here I've got that VHS tape that I haven't seen in well over a decade, but I know it's around here somewhere. So, if anyone out there knows of any place in Tokyo where I can take a VHS tape and get it transferred to DVD, or heck, MPEG, let me know and I'll put it up.